Welcome to the Museum of the City of New York. I'm Whitney Donhauser, Ronay Menschel, Director and President. Thank you all for joining us tonight for NYC Champions and Changemakers. As New Yorkers, we have been thrust into the epicenter of a pandemic that has touched every corner of the globe. But we are also demonstrating the depth of our resilience and capacity to join together in support of our neighbors and communities. Now, in this moment of national pain and struggle, one which transcends geography and shines further light on our racial and socioeconomic realities, it is truly our honor to take this moment and recognize just a handful of the countless acts of courage, great and small, that are rising up across the 5 boroughs. We are grateful for your support and thank you. I hope you enjoyed tonight's event. I'm now glad to introduce the chairman of our Board of Trustees, Bill Vratos, who will kick off tonight's event.
Thank you, Whitney. I'm Bill Vratos, chairman of the Board of Trustees, local New Yorker, and passionate admirer of the thousands who are giving their all to our city during these trying times. I'm proud to be the chairman of this incredibly important institution and proud of how it continues to chronicle New York City's past, present, and future. Our mission has never been more critical as we hold true to our role of New York City's storyteller, sharing the epic tales of what New Yorkers are enduring during this time of tremendous struggle while simultaneously demonstrating unparalleled resiliency. We thank you all for joining us tonight as we salute those who continue to go above and beyond for our city during this time. You will hear their stories of heroism, strength, and community. These champions and changemakers come from varying neighborhoods and backgrounds, yet each is making a difference in his or her own way. Each is an amazing example of the strength of New Yorkers and of our city's capacity to overcome crises when we work together. Thank you all for joining us tonight in celebration of these New York City champions and changemakers. Thank you.
New York is a city that never leaves you, and we can't wait to welcome you back. What makes New York, New York? Real New Yorkers know the answer starts with who. Throughout our city's history, there have been New Yorkers who rose to the challenge, reminding us of the city's potential and our own. Their words inspire us. Their ambition, their actions, their courage empower us all to find the strength to rise up again and again. We call those New Yorkers champions and changemakers, those who have and continue to go above and beyond, making sense out of chaos and enlightening a way forward. So ask a true New Yorker what makes New York, New York. It's not the what or the where, it's the who. We celebrate you, New York's champions and changemakers.
Hey everybody, you know me, I'm Leah Delaria, Big Boo from Orange is the New Black. And of course, many shows in New York, which is why I'm a huge supporter of the museum. And I am here and happy to be saluting those heroes who have helped us in New York's crazy time of need, this little fakakta pandemic. She is the chief of the Division of Critical Care at the Montefiore Health System located in the Bronx, and I think we all know this, the Bronx is one of our hardest hit communities. Her heroism, her selflessness, her amazing leadership have helped save so many lives. So it is truly an honor to present Dr. Michelle Gong with the Museum of the City of New York's Gotham Icon Award. And I express my personal thanks, Dr. Gong, for your dedication and what has been a very, very trying time for all of us. We all applaud you and thank you.
Michelle's seen a lot of grief in the hospitals, but she recognizes, yes, there's been losses, but also a lot of saves.
Michelle is determined and she is selfless. It's impressive to watch her work.
She is very caring in what she does, almost too much.
Some people might call it a job, but what we all hope for in life is to be able to find a vocation and a career. This is my dream, to impact the lives of patients, around the world, but especially actually the patients that we take care of and see here in Montefiore. Montefiore Healthcare System, which is the largest academic medical center that serves the community of the Bronx. What we've had here in the last 3 months has been unprecedented. Nearly 5,000 patients with COVID during that time.
We were very concerned that we were just going to get buried.
This was a challenge for the entire city of New York. I immigrated here from Hong Kong when I was 8, so I grew up in New York and I consider myself a New Yorker.
What is New York but 8 million immigrants in one way, shape, or form? I think her upbringing puts her in a place where she has no choice. In her mind, her success was necessary almost for her family to survive.
This has been her opportunity to really showcase all that she knows and has done in this field. It's really impressive that she's able to do all this and also raise 2 great sons.
Like many of us, I draw a lot of strength from my family, who's supported me throughout this whole thing. At the beginning of the pandemic, I was one of the people on my team who was busy intubating patients. Intubation is a procedure that comes with a higher risk of transmission of the virus. And I came down with COVID myself. I had fevers for about 10 days, but during that, the pandemic was starting to pick up, a doubling and tripling of number of COVID patients coming into the hospital each day. All of the operational work of escalating ICU capacities and building our command center to help us manage these patients, I was able to do that while sick. This will always be an indelible part of the history of New York, and it should be. But one thing about New York is that we're resilient, and that when New York is presented with a problem, we do what we can to solve the problem. And that's exactly what we did. So thank you to the Museum of the City of New York for this honor. I'm happy to accept it on behalf of Montefiore Medical Center and all of the people who've worked in there, because this was truly a collective team effort. I want to thank my family members who basically took care of all other aspects of the pandemic life to allow me to concentrate on what we needed to do at the hospital. I also want to especially thank the patients and the family members for their patience and their understanding during this very difficult time when many of them couldn't come into the hospitals to see their loved ones. And I also want to thank actually New York City in itself for their resiliency and for the 7 p.m. clap. I still hear it every day, and all of us here in the healthcare workers do recognize it, and we are touched by it every night. So thank you very much for your support during this time.
Hi, I'm here to present the Museum of the City of New York's Gotham Icon Award. But first, introduce myself. My name is Sam Perkins, NBA legend and a Brooklyn native. Earlier this year, the NBA and the Museum of the City of New York began a partnership connected to the museum's exhibition, City Game, Basketball in New York. I encourage everyone to experience it once the museum reopens. We are thrilled and continue our partnership today by recognizing heroes stepping up for our city. I have the distinct pleasure of saluting Harlem Haberdashery. Founded by Shireen Woods and her husband Guy, Harlem Haberdashery opened in 2012. The fashion duo has clothed celebrities including LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and through all their success have held true to tenets of strengthening community through fashion, family, and philanthropy. With the rise of COVID-19, that philanthropic spirit kicked into high gear. So what more can I say than to thank Harlem Haberdashery and for their unquestioned leadership and dedication, and present them with the Museum of the City of New York's Gotham Icon Award.
Shireen has this aura that inspires you to be great.
And wherever she goes, she represents a minority community, which is Harlem.
I don't even think she understands how much of a light she is to so many people.
My goal really is to make everyone's lives as fabulous as I can make it, and to make this world a better place than when I came.
She's a very supportive person. Like, if you want to do something, she's going to push you to do it.
She pushed me hard and it worked. It helped drastically, and that's why I have a business today.
She's been amazing through Harlem Haberdashery and through her own family's endowment to our hospitals.
Harlem Haberdashery is a custom clothing company that specifically caters to various personalities in the entertainment industry and people who are not celebrities but love to look good and have their own red carpet moments.
I don't think about it as a store. It's a place where you go, get inspired, you meet amazing people, and it's a community that they have built that is very special.
Harlem is our home. So part of our social responsibility at Harlem Haberdashery is to make sure that we take care of our community.
Anybody that was born and bred in Harlem in the 80s knows the struggles. Like, we had nothing.
When COVID first hit New York, I was terrified. I was terrified because I knew that it was a densely populated area. I knew how hard it was for people to self-distance.
Governor Cuomo went on national TV and said, we need masks and gowns. Shireen called me within like 2 hours.
I was like, wait a minute, this is just like making an outfit. I knew that medical grade PPE was just like some of the exquisite, really delicate fabrics that we use.
She drove to my factory to get the stuff and then drove to Harlem Hospital, drove to St. Barnabas. She took them by hand.
We were fighting a global pandemic, and one day we got a call and they said Harlem Haberdashery wants to bring masks, they want to donate meals. What do we need?
Harlem Hospital Center has been a great medical resource for a lot of families, including mine in Harlem. A lot of my family members were born there. So our job really is to pay respect to the older members of the community, but also to let the younger members of the community see us giving back, contributing, and hoping that that will help them understand how they can impact their community.
Shireen knew when COVID hit, if she didn't step up to help our community, nobody else would. When you grow up in an environment like ours, you don't think anything is attainable. So because of her, so many young women are gonna be great.
When you have a certain skill, you have to contribute to society through your skill set. Even though it's just fashion, it's still philanthropy.
Congratulations, Ms. Shea Woods.
Congratulations, Mom. You deserve it.
You deserve this and everything else God is gonna bless you with because you're amazing.
I am so honored to receive this award. Thank you to the Museum of the City of New York, my Harlem Haberdashery and Take Care of Harlem family, my mother, Esther Barnett, my husband, Guy, my daughter, Sydney, and my brother. I'm so honored to serve Harlem, serve New York, and make this world a better place.
I hope you're enjoying tonight's event. Now let me tell you a little bit more about the Museum of the City of New York. The museum is a beacon of New York's determination. Our visitors are immersed in New York's legacy as the world's greatest metropolis. We are dedicated to celebrating, documenting, and interpreting the city's past, present, and future, and providing essential education programs to over 50,000 New York City educators and children. There are over 8 million stories in New York, each one a reflection of our citizens, our community, and our great city. There are many more untold stories throughout New York's 400 years that shed light and direction on this critical moment. Your support at tonight's event will help keep New York City's history alive for many more years to come. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matt Ramsey. I'm a Blue Man at Blue Man Group here in New York City. I'm thrilled to be a part of this evening's festivities. Unfortunately, with the theater closed, I cannot present the award tonight looking like this or this, and instead you get this. But the good news is I can speak, and given the importance of the work of Leah Scondato and her team at Safe Horizon, I think it's wonderful that I can speak to their achievements. As the director of Brooklyn Family Court Program through Safe Horizon, Leah and her team work to ensure that victims of domestic violence receive the support, resources, and compassion they need to safely escape their situations of violence. As we've all heard recently, these cases have skyrocketed in the midst of COVID-19. Leah embodies the fearless leadership desperately needed by too many families who feel lost and voiceless in this time of struggle. It is because of this work and much more that I am proud to present Leah Scandato with the 2020 Gotham Icon Award.
I'm speaking to you from my bedroom, which is now where I work.
Leah has really been on the front line as much as anyone since the pandemic has hit.
We realized early on that we were extremely overwhelmed. We noticed a huge increase in family violence, maybe an adult child who is now being abusive to the parent that they live with. People using COVID as a form of manipulation and control to either get their partner to stay with them or to scare them.
Anyone who contacts the court and says right now, I need an order of protection, in Brooklyn, everything's just coming in through her cell phone.
Good afternoon, Safe Horizon.
And she's single-handedly directing them to case managers or to attorneys like myself.
It's really like lit a fire under me to think about what could happen to our clients if we weren't there for them, to help them navigate these systems, which are complicated to begin with. Part of the joy that I have in my work is seeing how we can change systems to better serve our clients. This felt like an excellent opportunity.
So much of what we do is connecting with people in person. Leah was able to shift her team to working from home and using the technology to connect with the courts remotely.
One thing that has made a huge difference in filing for things remotely is that the speed at which those things happen is so much faster now. Just for example, if somebody came into family court, say at 9 in the morning, they'd be lucky if they were done by 4 in the afternoon. Right now, if somebody calls us at 9, usually by 10, a lawyer that we've referred them to reaches out to them, and then they see a judge usually within another hour, which was unheard of prior to COVID.
You're hearing profound abuse described over and over and over again, and the way that she's able to just carry on, but then also do something very productive with it.
You know, home should be your safe place, but for a lot of people, it is not their safe place. Work is their safe place, school is their safe place. And so this has been a huge eye-opener for us and an opportunity to figure out different ways that we can be of service.
I've always been really inspired by her and struck by how much she cares about the work that she does.
You know, she really brings like her full life force to her work, and that's something that I find very inspiring. It helps encourage me to be the best advocate that I can be.
The biggest message that we've been trying to get out as an organization, you know, while our offices are closed, whether you're a victim of domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, whatever the case may be, we stayed on top of it. We're still here.
Congratulations, Leah, on this well-deserved honor.
We're so happy that you've won this award and that we've got to say some nice things about you today.
I wanted to say thank you so much for this prestigious honor, especially to the Museum of the City of New York. I'm truly humbled. I would really like to thank my friend and colleague, Jessica Spector, for nominating me for this award. I want to thank my team at Brooklyn Family Court, my supervisors, my colleagues from the Safe Horizon Domestic Violence Law Project, Sanctuary for Families, New York Legal Assistance Group, and the members of the assigned counsel panel for helping to assist our clients as seamlessly as possible during this extremely difficult time. And I really want to thank Safe Horizon as a whole, and especially thank my friends, family, and partner. Thank you so much.
Hey everybody, I'm Wayne Brady, and it is my pleasure to be able to speak to you today about two people, James Wesley and Seth Rudetsky. Who are they, you may ask? If you have to ask who are they, then you don't know Broadway. In this time of the COVID pandemic, Seth and James created Stars in the House, an internet show which has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Actors Fund. And that money has gone not just to actors, that's a common misconception. It's gone to to people on stage. It's gone to people behind stage, the people that you never see, everyone that helps make that big, beautiful machine of Broadway work. So many people left out of work and wondering what's going to happen next. And Seth and James have managed to step in with wide open arms and say to the Broadway community, I've got you. James and Seth are this year's 2020 recipients of the Gotham Icon Awards.
I still got it. Hi everybody, I'm Seth Rudetsky.
I'm James Wesley.
We're here doing something called Stars in the House.
Seth and James, at this time of need, they put themselves out there.
I don't really know anybody else that can do something like that.
It's important that there are people like that. It's vital.
Broadway theaters in Manhattan.
Broadway shut down on March 16th. And I thought, yeah, we really should do something. So I said to James, I said, why don't I just get some of my Broadway singers and they can sing and we'll raise some money. So that was Sunday. And I emailed like all the Broadway stars. I did like a crazy mass email and everyone was like, yes, yes, yes. And then by Monday, the show was done.
We're live. Hi.
And we use it as a way to bring people together around the world that have been very isolated.
How are you?
And the money goes to the Actors Fund.
Seth and James also recognized something important, that it wasn't just a matter of entertaining people. It's a lot more. It's the ability of bringing people together, people who are physically distant from each other and are aching to be together. I mean, human beings need to be together.
It is hard not to have joy when you have the most amazing, talented people in the world come into our living room virtually and talk to us and sing to the audience.
Hello, Dr. LaPook.
I don't even know whose idea it was, but somehow I became involved.
You've got to do it. This is not a drill.
On the CBS Evening News, I may have a minute, 20 seconds to do a story. It's still nice to be able to have the kind of time to really explain something, especially during a pandemic where the devil's in the details.
Everybody they've been in contact with for 14 days.
I'm so very grateful and appreciative for the act.
We've had a lot of great emails, but I would actually say it was an image that had the two nurses on their lunch break watching Stars in the House. If we'd only done one show and that was it, and it made those two people get through their day a little bit easier and better and lifted their spirits even for a moment, then the whole thing was worth it.
I have to say, it's also very, very emotional and moving for me. Their heart's on their sleeve. I mean, the two of them are just this lightning rod for love.
The more people we have like that, the better off we all are, for goodness sakes.
You really see the partnership between them. Their advocacy is just so far-reaching.
One of our connections as two men in love with one another is social justice through the arts.
So it's all a reminder of how fortunate and how blessed and how lucky we are, and we have to give it back.
Thank you for doing it with love and generosity and humor and spice, and we love you.
We first want to thank, of course, the Museum of the City of New York for this honor. Also, James, my God, there's so many people we have to thank.
Our team, we definitely could not do it without a host of people, dozens of people that helped make it happen. We want to thank Dr. John LaPook, who helps ground us. We could not do it without all the amazing artists who donate their time, who say yes, who are willing just to go with the worst of technical difficulties and tinny sound because they're doing it because they love the Actors Fund, they love the arts, they know the importance and the healing power of the arts and music, and are willing to roll with the punches even when their audio and their video goes out.
We are New York City's storyteller, and right now there are so many stories happening all over the city. The museum will continue to share your experiences as seen through the lens of the COVID-19 crisis, arguably one of the most challenging periods in New York City's history. Please continue to send us images and post them onto our Instagram account using the hashtag COVIDStoriesNYC. Some of these images will appear both online and in our space when the museum reopens to the public.
I think people in the city of New York have had an extraordinarily difficult time. I think COVID hit New York harder than anywhere else in the country, and not by a little bit, but by a lot. And I think the impacts and the things that we're seeing even right now about the conversations dealing with Mr. Floyd and the issue of inequitable policing is something that New York has had a history of dealing with. So I think right now with New York, the thing that we're asking New Yorkers to do is keep using your voice. Don't give that up, but also asking that we stay together, because that's also the only way we're going to get to a better place. I think what we're watching right now in the city and what we're watching right now around the country, it's not that anything has changed. I just think people are paying attention. I think so many of the issues that we are debating and the things that we are fighting for right now, these aren't new things. But now the veil has been uncovered. And now people see that these are things that none of us have the luxury to turn a blind eye to. And so we fight and we advocate for justice of all forms. We fight because we know that the system and the structures that we are living in right now have a taint and an underlying feeling of injustice that's supporting them. And so the way I think about this moment right now is we demand justice of all form for everybody.
Good evening, everyone. I am Stephen Kunkin, and I am happy to join you tonight from my home in Red Hook, Brooklyn. Now, as a native New Yorker, I have been able to see New York reach many of its great peaks and also many of its valleys. But in this moment, as anxious as I am for the future of our city, I have also never been more proud of how we have come to each other's aid and refused to back down in the face of a pandemic. Our next honoree embodies that determination to fight back against an invisible foe. Dr. Elizabeth Auerbach is director of the Pulmonary Fellowship Program at Elmhurst Hospital. Now, since the end of February, Dr. Auerbach and her team of 6 fellows saw their caseloads jump from an average of 10 to 15 patients a day well into the hundreds as COVID patients flooded in. And so it is truly my honor to present Dr. Elizabeth Auerbach with the Museum of the City of New York's Gotham Icon Award, and also to express my own personal thanks for your sacrifice and your incredible dedication.
Dr. Auerbach has been unbelievable. If she wasn't here, I'd feel like the hospital would fall apart.
Not to mention that she's incredibly intelligent and caring and kind.
Once you get into the hospital and you have all of your gear on and you're just in there walking around and seeing the patients and taking care of them, you're just like, okay, all right, I'm gonna do this.
Dr. Auerbach is our program director. She's the program director of 6 fellows. But more than a program director, she's a friend. And she's always supportive of us. And she served as a pillar of hope.
I wanted to make sure that I was a good role model for them. So I knew that I had to step up and make sure that they saw that this is how we're supposed to act as critical care doctors, and this is our calling, and this is what we're here for.
She's been up to her elbows in this since it started, because Elmhurst was one of the first hospitals that got completely overwhelmed.
It's been a roller coaster. The beginning was extremely hectic.
We are the hardest hit hospital in New York, being considered the epicenter of the coronavirus.
I remember that it was the end of February that we were starting to see some positive cases roll in, and within about a week or so, we had filled up our ICU.
She was basically commanding the entire hospital.
It was very stressful at first. Down in the emergency room, they would intubate patients and they would be calling us in the ICU saying, hey, do you have a bed for this patient? And it was just one of those things like, oh my God, where are we going to put these patients?
It was also very scary. Are we going to get sick? Are we not going to get sick?
If I'm sick and I'm out for like 2 weeks, what's going to happen to those patients that I can't take care of?
She always put the patient first in front of everybody else. And she would always keep in touch with the families, using her own cell phone, using her own FaceTime, and comfort them in a way that, you know, it takes years to learn.
It's incredible. It's ridiculous. It's so many hours, so long, so much work.
It was just my job. It was what I had to do.
When she's saying, I'm just doing my job, or it's no big deal, she comes home and she's just wiped out. She would come in, she just didn't really touch anything. That's been one of the hardest things, not being able to just like give her a hug.
It's something a little bit difficult to deal with, but I think, I'm doing everything that I can for them.
You wouldn't know that she's such a big, badass doctor.
You wouldn't even assume that she was there for 24, 36, or 48 hours in a row.
I am exhausted.
She's always there to pick us up and give us a smile or give us a joke.
If there's someone that you feel incomplete without, then you better keep that person around, and she's that person for me.
Thank you, Dr. Auerbach, for everything you've done.
You definitely deserve this and a lot more. You're the best. Much appreciated.
I want to thank the Museum of the City of New York for this amazing honor. I'm humbled by this because this is just my job. This is what I do. But I really want to thank you for taking the time to honor me for doing my job. I also want to thank the residents and the fellows and all the attendings, especially my chief, Alfred Estua, who I work with, because if I didn't have you guys around, I don't know if I would be able to make it through this, but I think all of us together have done an amazing job. And then, of course, I want to thank my fiance, Brian. Without his day-to-day support, I don't know how I would have gone through to the hospital every single day, just knowing that he was there for me when I got home to take care of me, to make sure that I was well fed. So thank you to everyone. Appreciate it.
My name is Chef Marty Samuelson from Red Rooster in Harlem. Our final honoree this evening embodies what it means to have compassion for your neighbor and take action for those who are most at risk. Dr. Felix Matos Rodriguez is the Chancellor of the City University of New York. It's truly my pleasure to present Dr. Felix Matos Rodriguez with the Museum of the City of New York's Gotham Icon Award and express my personal thanks for his work and dedication to his students.
Felix Matos Rodriguez is somebody that is very empathic to the students.
Without his leadership, it wasn't easy to get through the uncertain time.
He's very student-centric.
The State University of New York is the largest urban university in the United States. About the first week in March, we decided that really the best way to go was to move all the courses, all 50,000 courses, into distance learning. We started the Chancellor's Emergency Fund, and we use that fund to give direct money to many of our students.
Felix really created a task force to meet the challenge of the epidemic. He kept an eye on the students' response and their needs. I think that Felix will go down in history as a very important historic figure.
He was still committed to make a difference on, continuing this journey for students and successfully bringing them home to graduate.
I am delighted that we were able to, by moving to distance learning, keep our students, our faculty, our staff safe.
One of the beautiful and genuine and just incredibly human qualities for Chancellor Matos Rodriguez is his ability to connect with students. He's got a specific space in his heart for students who are undocumented, for students who might need some developmental coursework, or for students who have to think about things like childcare.
We purchased about 20,000 computers for our students that didn't have those laptops at home.
The resources to support students and community members who needed the emergency support most were not being evenly distributed. And that was something that the Chancellor insisted on, and that was something that we in partnership were able to accomplish.
I think he's always been concerned in making sure that we continue in our mission, making sure that we are there as that beacon of opportunity for students.
He has a special way of connecting to people, and I think that was something that it really stood up for me, to be able to care for the cause, for the purpose, for the commitment, not just like what the title holds.
A lot of pride in many of the things that we have done and how the CUNY family has responded. There's still work to be done, right? So we're going to need to keep that same spirit of resiliency and collective action in the months ahead.
Fellow, I congratulate you as an admirer, as a member of your team, and as a fellow leader within the CUNY system.
We applaud, my colleagues and I on the Board of Trustees, applaud you in what you have done over the last year, applaud you for the efforts in the last few months.
I am so happy and thrilled that you are being the individual to be the recipient of this award throughout this pandemic. So thank you for who you are, and thank you for your leadership for CUNY.
Thank you so much to Whitney, to the board of the Museum of the City of New York for this award, which is really an award that goes to the City University of New York. I'm the lucky guy that gets to represent the university, but it's really wonderful to live in a city that has such great institutions like the museum and like CUNY, who are focused on the needs of New Yorkers, who get energy from the talent and the vision of New Yorkers, and who are going to be part of rebuilding this city even stronger and more equitable and in the years ahead. So again, thank you for this distinction. And I know that you're virtually open, but being an old-fashioned historian, I look forward to when the doors open again and I can go see some of the wonderful shows that the museum always gets to curate. So thank you again, and I hope that you raise a lot of money, because we need it for all the great work that you do.
Wow, what truly inspiring stories of New Yorkers. I want to thank all of our champions and change makers. Here at the museum, we deeply value telling the stories of our great city and communities, as well as serving as a steady presence of hope while our city and country navigates this current period of pain. Any support that you can give to tonight's event will help the museum to keep New York City's history alive throughout our next 100 years. One of the most uplifting things to come out of this pandemic is the support shown to the essential workers keeping our city running. The nightly 7 p.m. clap out encourages these essential workers to keep going and reminds them that we appreciate their sacrifice. As we end our program, do join me in clapping for our city and our neighbors. Let's show them that we care. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and I hope you enjoyed our champions and change makers. I hope to see you back at the museum soon. Stay safe.